All right, all right, all right. Good day, good day, good day. I'm going to say good day to all of you and thank you for being here with us. I must apologize one more time for all of the technical dispersions and shenanigans. I have to tell you, this morning has been hilarious as I was trying to look for some other different types of software that work with streaming and chatting online. And let me tell you, it's a learning experience for me. And I am making every mistake you can think of. So that is why I was a little bit behind, a little bit slow getting myself started this morning. So, as a prize on the back end, I will not be here very long so that you won't feel like I've abducted you for this experience. I'm trying to figure out how to use some of these tools, and I got to tell you guys, I thought I was pretty savvy with some of these things, but oh my goodness, I got tied up and twisted around. All of a sudden, I couldn't figure out what I was looking at. It was a lot of fun until I realized, oh my goodness, I should actually be streaming and chatting right now because I try to keep this little block of time. I feel like it's the least intrusive time of the day for me. But anyway, enough of me and my ramblings and my dilemma. Just you guys, keep your thoughts and prayers for me, really, thoughts and prayers. So get together, get your coffee ready, get yourself in a position to be relaxed so that you do not feel stressed out. It's Saturday morning, and as you get ready to prepare for your errands, understand that this is a Sussex friendly place, a Sussex friendly space. It's also a space where you can discuss or chat about topics that are a little bit different or outside, and I may not be able to comment on them, but I might find them interesting to read about and talk about at a later date. So don't forget about that because, there's a lot going on in our world today, and so many people want to be involved. And trust me, that is truly admirable, isn't it? All right, that being said, you got your coffee ready. Now, for those of you who are not sitting and hanging out and having a cup of coffee, then you might instead decide that you are going to participate in some of the things we do as far as supporting our fitness journeys. So, for those of you out there who are like me, parents of adult children, you're in that age bracket where you have to keep moving, you have to stay as active as possible if you can. And all of those things, eating better and exercising from time to time, will help to keep your body in the right frame. So, we want to always encourage each other to maintain the types of exercises that we enjoy. I, of course, enjoy the gym every now and then, and I love to get on those treadmills and bikes. So, I love the reclining bicycle. I recommend it for anyone like me with knee and back pain because it takes a lot of the weight off. So, if you're participating in some sort of fitness journey as well, I want you to feel free and let us know in the chat what you may have found out about or what you may be participating in that will also be fun and encouraging to someone else, right? So, let's try to do that to help each other out. Now, I'm going to type a little bit here as I am working the banner, the banner updates. And it is hilarious because I was sitting here thinking I had all this done. I looked up, oh my goodness, it was a shocking nightmare, but one that I think you all will have fun with. Okay, so how are we going to get started today talking about some of the things that are Sussex related? So let's begin by saying off the bat, um, I am sure that all of you have noticed this week, or actually over the past few weeks, that most of your media, your tabloid media profiles or tabloid media stories have seemed somewhat familiar, have they not? I mean, do you feel like you are hearing material? I'm going to back my slides up, so just bear with me as I go back through to the beginning. Are you getting the feeling that you've read it before or that you've seen it before? That the information being printed in the tabloids, it's not new, right? If you're like me, and you may track some of these things, the media, because it's the media that I kind of lean to in my focus. The reason being, I am all about talking in terms of things that we are made to believe. In other words, we the people. All right. And whenever I'm speaking from the position of we the people. There's always this effort to make us believe one thing or another, or I call it subtext, which if you don't believe what you're being told about a particular thing, there's always another game plan to redirect your attention or misdirect what you might be believing, right? There is always this constant practice in the worldwide media to make we the people act and behave and react a certain way. This is something that, as I have gotten older, it has almost become more obvious. The only thing that still I still work with, or I still struggle with, is the answer to the question why, right? Because often you will know that you're experiencing something. You can understand that you're going through this propaganda tunnel, but you're asking yourself the entire time, why would anyone want to do these things? Correct? At least that's where I generally land. Now, even though I land in that space, sometimes, and I know you guys are going to get a laugh out of this, sometimes the best way for me to cope with what I'm experiencing or seeing or living through, the best manner for me to cope is to refer and reference the type of science fiction novels that I've read as a child, the type of science fiction shows that I've watched in the past. Of course, I have to lean very heavily on religious, and I don't mean, I do not mean doctrinal training, but I have to lean on things that my family, which is a very strong family in faith, how they interpret the world and try to help navigate through that world as you were a child all the way to your adulthood. So I have to lean on those things to try to make sense out of what I might be experiencing in the world, what I'm seeing, and if I'm trying to answer the question, why? Why would anyone want to do these things, right? So, that being said, please join in as I get ready to flip through some of these slides and let's talk about some of these things. So, this spread, I just wanted to say Harry and Meghan, of course, the Sussex family, they are constantly working to build their family life. It is a daily operation, correct? Very few of us every single day are asked, so what exactly did you accomplish today? Let's see if you've made any progress today. Unless you are running a business or if you are involved in making or creating or manufacturing some type of product. In general, you just live your day-to-day life, right? Like me, this morning I get up, I run out, I get some coffee, I come back, I think, maybe I'll do a live chat today, you know. But there is no person in my sphere, in my circle rather. There is no real requirement in my circle to report my day-to-day progress in my life, right? That's just not a general thing happening. However, for the Sussex family, from the view of the tabloid media, when they come on TV every day, it is to try to put out whether or not Meghan and Harry have achieved something, or whether or not Harry and Meghan have failed at something. And this is their daily dose of media drivel, right? They always have someone sitting at a table because this is also the new, you know, new format of entertainment. And I really shun this, but we have to do it. But the new format of entertainment and what we call news, right? It's always a screen of X number of people sitting at a desk, and each one of these people just spill out what they think or their opinion, or their position on any particular topic, right? So it's any topic. It could be, hey, do you like this salad? Well, person one has to tell you why they love it. Person two has to tell you why they hate it. And then you have to listen to them scream about it at each other for about a half an hour. And then you realize at the end of the half an hour that you've watched this entertaining show, you've really learned nothing. And you came in, hopefully, with a thought or an opinion of your own. And hopefully, when you leave, you basically have a similar thought or opinion, unless you gained some information. But in most cases, you haven't. So that is the new format. It's the talk TV, UK media, tabloid TV specifically. They simply just have people sitting, and their job is to sit there and read the teleprompter and to spew any particular opinion or position about any topic. Well, of course, over in the UK, what is the position in general? Tabloid media, their position is you can attack Harry and Meghan without any restraint. Why? Because they have been deemed personas non grata. In other words, there's no reason to be kind to them. So let's find every reason to be angry with them. Channel all of your intense hatred into one ball and then focus it at this family. All right. So that's the UK tabloid media strategy. And what that does, if we can just generate and keep our engines running on this Harry and Meghan, please let's despise them campaign because they make you angry about everything, then guess what you do not have to do? You do not have to face anything in real life that is affecting you. When you do that in a media space, you don't have to pay attention to what your government is slash or is not doing, right? You're not going to think, well, you know what, maybe I should go down to this council meeting, school board meeting, or down to my city or state, municipal meetings. I don't need to go down there and find out what is happening with the roads in my town. I don't need to find out why are they building another skyscraper next door to my house. As long as you're at home, sitting in front of your television, watching these people be angry and mad at Harry and Meghan, well, what are you not paying attention to? Okay. So I know I kind of got misdirected out there, but you get where I'm coming from. You get what I'm saying, right? So let's look at what our folks were doing this week, or some of the things that were of honorable mention. What Prince Harry did do is he had the opportunity to bestow an honor on someone that he has met and worked with in the Invictus program over some time. And it was a wonderful thing for him to be a presenter of an award that she received. She received this award. It's Military Times. It's like the military. For those of you who might be unfamiliar, there is a publication that is often produced for the military personnel. It's almost like a military newspaper. And so for Military Times, she received the Soldier of the Year award. That's phenomenal. I have to tell you, it is a very prestigious award. It's not simply thrown out willy nilly, I have to admit, although many awards are. So it takes quite a bit of work and community recognition, and that is, i.e., military community, in order to be nominated for this award. If they are encouraged by what you do, if you are doing things and performing in a manner that brings other people into participating as well, it is an honor to receive this award. So it was lovely that they were able to get Prince Harry to give her this award. It's fantastic. I mean, these soldiers definitely receive these awards, and generally they're spoken out by a general of the highest level, generally where they are working or at their last duty station. So that, of course, the generals are a big deal. But I mean, to have Harry present you that award, wow, now that's a bigger deal. So I thought this was fantastic. And, like I always like to do, I want to let you know we're going to get. And it's phenomenal. So we want to say thanks to him for doing that. Now, for us in our normal lives, right? Um, you're thinking, isn't that great? And this is her also in her military uniform, and this is her wonderful picture. But how do people react to this in the greater UK tabloid world? Oh my goodness. Well, their concern was not what she was awarded for. Their concern was not her phenomenal achievements, because she's also a swimmer that won medals in the Invictus competitions. Well, no, the UK tabloid media had no interest in that whatsoever. Instead, let's talk about what Harry was wearing, right? What's important here is, was he wearing military medals? Or was he not wearing a medal that he should have been wearing? Oh, because that, to the UK tabloid media, was the focus of attention, right? So let's take a pause and let's think about that, people. What did his clothing and his medals have to do with this individual's achievement? But their goal is to always remove anything positive from the world of Harry and Meghan. And everyone, of course, can see this in living color. So once again, the UK tabloid media is back to rehashing, relitigating whether Harry should wear honorable military medals, whether he should not wear them, whether he has on the medal for coronation of his father, being in the coronation of king and queen. Oh my goodness, this to them is an affront. Well, but it actually isn't. It's just simply the same old story. This is the same old story they went through when he's not allowed to wear his military uniform in the procession. And then everyone is supposed to find a reason to laugh about that or to be cruel about it. And if he's wearing the medals, oh, should he wear his military medals? Now, I mean, think about this. He's one of the only men in that family, one of three, I believe, that actually served in the military. Oh, well, what is the UK tabloid media and as you all say, and those that are naysayers, what do they want you to believe? That his military service wasn't of any value, that he didn't really do anything. And the interesting thing about that being said is, for one, I spent time in Afghanistan myself. And so I do not appreciate the label that an individual soldier can go to these deployments and not do anything but play video games. And I do not appreciate that stigma being placed on our soldiers en masse. Now, the reason, because when you are in a deployed situation, right, you may have a lot of time that is not filled with anything. That is true. You may have time to go to the gym. That's true. People might get up to all kinds of shenanigans. That too is true. But the important thing to recall about sending your young people, believe it or not, basically sending our children to what we deem a conflict zone, is that you have dropped them in the middle of a situation where at any minute things can change and turn upside down. And I'll give you an example. Again, I know I'm getting off topic. I was at one time sitting in a room where we were actually watching a movie, right? We had worked our time, we'd worked our shift, which, by the way, they were 10 to 12 hours long. And you're monitoring usually a lot of activity that might be going on. And we're watching a movie. But guess what happened while that movie was playing? Well, a mortar round hit the building next to us and blew it up. And that's while we were watching a movie. So imagine if I had come home and we had returned from all of our duty stations. Can you imagine the reaction, the internal reaction, if someone had said, well, when you all were overseas, all you did was sit around and watch movies? Right, exactly. You would have exactly that reaction. You would think, I should tear this person's head off. But okay, anyway, I digress. And I've gone on around the circle. The point is, back to the topic, is that he presented this award and he did a phenomenal job. And we love seeing that. And these are the types of things that the family is involved in, the types of things that they do, and the types of things that they love to do. So, with that being said, on a lighter note, before I say the lighter note, please like and share and subscribe if you haven't already. I just need to mention that. And also, let me look and see if I have any wonderful comments here, because as you can tell, I'm all over the place. Good morning, King for Concepts, and thank you for being here. It is so great to see you. Yes, and thank you for being here. And once again, good morning also to Joyce Anderson. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, great Saturday morning. Let's get out there and get all of our errands in and get moving. Yes, indeed. Thank you for being here. I know I struggled to get online this morning, but thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. So all of you, if you're interested in chatting below, feel free, and I'll try to always bring up your comment and make a mention of it. Okay, so the other things that's been going on is there has been an introduction to what American Riviera Orchard will be interested in, right? We're talking about food, we're talking about gardening, we're talking about what I call the gems of being a pioneer woman. Okay, I love this that Megan is presenting basically the work of the pioneer woman in America, right? That's going out west and you're going to forge your way, but also in the most elevated and classy manner possible. So she's putting that type of a spin on all things pioneer. So some of her friends received various presentations and pre-packaged products that she will be working with. And there's, I think I spelled her name right, Chrissy Teigen, I'm not sure, who is married to John Legend. They did a phenomenal little video clip as she was making a sandwich to put the jam on the bread, and what she made definitely looked delicious. It was a sandwich that had wonderful pieces of bacon on it, and then she put some cheese on it. It just looked so good. So they were the talk of the town in that presentation. And of course, because Megan is doing something and because Megan has ideas, what is it that the UK tabloid media will do in reaction? One, they will try to copy it, they will try to imitate it, or they will try to say that they, in fact, created it, right? And we have talked in the past where that character comes from. In other words, the character that despises you but cannot do anything except copy you. And before you know it, it will try to become you. And many of us in our world here, we're very used to this characteristic, right? Many people are yelling about these things online, is that there is this need for many people, for example, in one culture to absorb and to live off of and to make money from another culture, right? Meanwhile, telling you that you should hate that culture, right? It's very entertaining to watch, and it happens everywhere. It would be it would be very much in an example if I hated everything about Japanese animation, but yet I'm here selling it, right? And that's kind of what I mean, right? There is a constant push and pull of trying to take on the personalities, to take on the look of, to take on the ideas of a person who is actually your enemy. You say you can't stand them, but every time we turn around, you're actually trying to be them, right? So obviously there is something wrong with that characteristic. But, again, what was my question in the beginning? You ask yourself, why do they do this? Why are people like this? And that is a phenomenal question. So Chrissy Teigen is eating her sandwich, and it appears that John Legend liked that sandwich as well. And I love the comment that they made about it. Is she said that the jam and all of that was so good, and they made that sandwich. She said she needed to hide that from herself, basically, or not have it around, because otherwise she would just keep eating it and never stop. I thought that was very nice of her to say, and sweet as can be. Now, she sent another, of course, she's been sending these out. So another person who received it is Garcelle, I think is her name's pronunciation. And I don't have a picture of her here, but Garcelle is the individual who helps them work through various ideas that are being pitched to Netflix. So they're doing great work. Garcelle is an ardent supporter. And of course, what is it that the naysayers try to do? Because this is the world of social media. If you say something positive about a person, the naysayers try to jump into your feed or to jump into your social media platform and leave comments about the fact that you like Meghan and Harry, or that you enjoy or appreciate what Harry and Meghan do. What they try to do is to jump in her in her feed to tell her that she should not like Harry and Meghan. Now, can you imagine the boldness you have to try and tell another person who they should or should not like? And I would like to say to all of you out there, can you say sixth grade clubs? Can you say that? Because this behavior is truly indicative of children in the sixth grade, right? Until you learn who you are, how children get together and try to bully other children and pull each other aside and say, don't be their friend, right? Be my friend, but don't be their friend. But this is the UK tabloid media and the naysayers that follow them, right? So just keep that in mind. But she's pushing out these wonderful baskets, lovely presentations with the jam and the fruit. And it's what is phenomenal about this product that she's getting ready to launch is that it's very slow and methodical how it's being packaged and prepared. And I love it because no matter what they do, no matter which direction they go in, as soon as they step in that direction, the UK imitators jump on board to try and divert her success. They keep trying to divert her success to themselves. And it's working in one way, but in the other way, it's making them look more and more ridiculous, right? For example, when they did that little website sweep, the charity did receive funding and donations, but the point was you got those donations because of Megan. And they don't see the irony in that ridiculous stunt. But we do. So once again, I just always throw this up here to let you know these are the presentations from the royal family, and none of them were true, right? So that's all you need to know about that is that everything they present, nothing is truth. And that is totally the way they behave in a place of fiction, in a world of non-truth. So as I prepare to get ready to run out of here on you guys, and I said I was going to be short today, I always tell you that every now and then I like to link the way that I think or process what I see going on every now and then with some type of literature that I have been privy to, or in this case, some type of biblical sayings. And I tell you, I do love Proverbs in the Bible. And I know, okay, again, do not panic. There is no requirement for you to become anything because I am referring to these things. I just like to point these out because the sayings are really interesting. And most of the time, when it comes to Proverbs, they make me laugh. So I wanted to share that. The other thing I wanted to point out to you all, although I know many of you may not be original Star Trek fans, but you need to know that Star Trek, the original, is an important reference for me. So I'm going to tell you why. And then I'm going to go through these little wonderful verses and chapters that I like out of Proverbs, and I'm going to kind of tell you why this is. Well, there are a couple of Star Trek episodes, and one in particular that I'm going to mention here. It involves our wonderful cast finding themselves on a planet in and around this person, and I say person with like quotations around that, who is showing or exhibiting almost godlike powers, like they're able to make things appear and disappear, and they're talking to the cast as if the cast are children to them, right? So they have the captain sitting in a room that's filled with everything from like Louis the 14th, the century of Louis the 14th and before, and he's playing the piano and he's dressed like Liberace, and he's talking to the captain of the Enterprise, who is Captain Kirk, and he's talking to him about what kind of adventures he might have been on, as if he was a captain on a seafaring ship. So this character has them playing these different games, but the games are very dangerous to the crew. He wanted to have a sword fight with someone. He was interested in having a lady friend sit and have dinner with him. And he's doing all these things, and he's basically throwing a tantrum because the captain is like, why are you holding us hostage here? basically to fool around and play with you. We don't have time for this. Well, in this series, what you find out in this series is that this extremely advanced being that has abilities and characteristics far beyond that of humans, right? Again, he could make things appear out of thin air, and he could transport you from one place to another, and he was actually physically holding the ship itself in a state of being held still, like they couldn't go anywhere. And so, even though he had this great amount of power, what you find out in the end of the show is that, in fact, this entity was equivalent to a child of its kind. So it was a child of that type of entity that had that great amount of power, this vast ability to do these things that to us would have looked magical. However, in its own realm, it was a child. Now, this is what's fascinating. Of course, like I said, this is the kind of thing I draw from. Because when you see and you watch how the UK royal family and tabloid media and all of these entities operate, you're looking at people, institutions, and the like that are vast, extremely powerful, and could do some phenomenal and extraordinary things with the power and the reach that they have. However, when you watch how they operate, you can't help but think they must be a child. Like their behavior is absolutely childish. So I wanted to point that out. And if you get the opportunity, and I encourage everyone, please watch every single Star Trek episode because it's important homework for you. But without doing that, just understand that concept. Is a situation where there are people, institutions that have vast amounts of power, vast amounts of reach. But in fact, they behave irrational like children. So let's go to Proverbs real quick and then we're going to wrap it up. So let's look at, what does it say up front? Chapter 12. And I've taken some of these verses out and I tried to highlight the ones that I wanted to hit on. And then I encourage each of you, if you're interested, only if you're interested, check it out and read it for yourself. It's always like, I think, good things to topics. Yes. So how do we wrap this into how Harry and Meghan live their lives, right? So whoever loves discipline, they love knowledge. But he who hates reproof is stupid. Basically, now this is in the modern language here, not the King James language, but it's basically saying, if you appreciate when people tell you, hey, you can improve this, or you can do better, or do this correctly, if you appreciate being corrected, then you love knowledge. You love it when people try to instruct you. But if you hate that, you're just plain stupid. Okay. All right. So again, who does that remind you of? Another one that I highlighted is, no one is established by wickedness, but the root of righteousness will never be moved. So what are we saying here? They're saying that when you build an empire and you've built it on all types of wrongdoings, what happens? That stuff will soon fall apart. But instead, if you try to build what you're doing because of the righteousness of it, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything. But that foundation, right, is strong and it may never move. Always pay attention to, like I said, current day progress in the media. You're watching all of these powerful people that did all kinds of powerful and awesome things, and they achieved all types of levels of accolades. And where are they? Many of them are sitting in court before judges, being on trial for whatever. Many of them are being accused of all manner of ridicule and procedural problems and financial issues. Just like you said, it's spread across the newspapers, but they have been running amok for like 20, 25 years. And now these things are coming back to haunt them. So remember, if you establish what you're doing in the realm of righteousness, it may last for eternity. So just keep that in mind. Now, down here, I'm highlighting also that the wicked are overthrown and are no more, but the house of the righteous will stand. Well, that's very much like what I just was talking about, right? Eventually, it can last 1,000 years, but it might not last 2,000, right? Because it's messed up. And then I note down here, it says, a man is commended according to his good sense, but one of a twisted mind is despised. That's true, right? You're going to go around and you'll see people again. They'll be making it in the world. They'll be getting ahead as far as we can see, right? It looks like they're just doing great things. But what happens is actually they are the ones that are truly despised, right? And that is something that you need to pay very close attention to. So again, I'm skipping on around here. Proverbs chapter 12, again, still continuing. It said, whoever is wicked, they covet. In other words, they always want the spoil of evildoers. In other words, people who are wicked, they always want what evil people have. You know, haven't you heard this before? Someone who is really twisted, but they want to be rich like another rich criminal, right? They want to have a boat like a rich criminal. They want to have the big house like a rich criminal. People who are always wanting what they see evil people getting. And then an evil man is ensnared by the transgression of his lips. In other words, stuff that he's saying. But often the righteous will escape from trouble. Why? Because often people who are righteous keep quiet. Now, that does make people angry sometimes because they want the good people to step forward and be forceful. But sometimes, and you just have to discern when this is best. Sometimes for a righteous person, it's better to kind of be quiet. Why? Because evil people are ensnared by the transgression of what they're talking about often in things that they say. And that is constant. And so here I think I can't read the last of it, but I believe it's like, where am I? Is that the way of, what did I do? I'm going to have to come back to that one because I can't see it and I don't know why. But I can't see the Bible. But I think it's the way of the righteous. I'm not sure it's in their own eyes, but a wise man can follow his own discernment. But we'll come back to that one. That's 15. So y'all make sure you check it out so you get the wording correctly. All right? That's important too. But that's what we have to keep in mind. And of course, I always love to point out that lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are in his delight. Okay? A prudent man conceals his knowledge. Now, this is interesting because I didn't think about this often coming up in the work world. But they're saying if you're prudent, sometimes you have to hold what you know. And I think about this often with Meghan and Harry. Sometimes, especially in the case of Meghan, when she's working on something and she's getting ready to produce something, or if she's working on something in the background, she definitely has to maintain a level of, I'm going to say secrecy maybe, or a level of keeping it to herself so that she isn't caught off guard. Because there's constantly people who are trying to I guess beat her at her own game. Okay. Now, these are the last two down here are also my favorites because it's always talking about, I think of myself when I feel so tired, I don't want to get up and I don't want to move. You don't want to do anything, right? And it says, whoever is slothful, they will not roast his game, but the diligent man will get precious wealth. And what are we saying here? They're talking about if you're too lazy to hunt, you're too lazy to get out and go get your food, but you want to eat, right? You want to rest and you don't want to do the work, but you want to eat as well. And so it's saying in the path of righteousness is life, and in its pathway there is no death. And that's, of course, speaking back to all of the proverbs or in this chapter before this. Everything is leading up to that. Is that if you go in the right way, you can avoid a lot of mess. So we want to definitely make sure we put that out there and kind of pay attention to some of these wonderful thoughts, because they can kind of carry us through life in a, what do you call it, in a very good way. Like you can kind of pay attention to life and then apply some of these, what I call great thoughts. Oh, I see what it was saying. It said that the way of a fool is right in his own eyes. And this is brilliant, but a wise man listens to advice. Again, it's kind of a repeat of the first one. And so again, just kind of look at that in retrospect, in respect to how the UK tabloid media is operating, right? Because they believe they are right in what they are doing. They really do. But the rest of the world is looking at them and saying, my God, what is wrong with you? Right? And they cannot believe it. They're sitting there talking to themselves. And as someone mentioned in one of the super chat, I call it the super chats, the super squatties, they mentioned all of these people have a particular look about them. They all seem to be of the same character, the same characteristics, right? All of these people who are the naysayers and actually the ones who show the most vitriolic hatred, they seem to be of a certain type, right? And they sit there and they are only believing what they are saying. It hasn't occurred to them that what they are saying is incorrect. So once again, folks, I want to say again, please hit the like button. Please share and subscribe. Thank you all for participating and being a part of this chat. I know I was kind of rushing it a little bit and not sure what was going on, but that's just because I was having a technical I was having a technical meltdown. But I thank you all for coming and enjoy some of the other super squatties and super chats as I continue to learn to work and build this channel. I'm having a great time and I want you all to enjoy listening to some of the crazy stuff that I'm talking about. So remember this, that I covered these before, that sometimes you have to remember the old words of some of these biblical sayings, because it is often that they may hold some type of insight that will help you move forward. And I'm still going to be asking that question, and I'm looking more for an answer. Why? Why do these people continue to do this? And remember, this battle is ongoing and it is long term. It's a battle for life. Okay. This battle is for life. Okay. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and gather up our belongings and let's see what else I can do here. All right, all right. And I'm going to pop to the last slide I think I got. Yay. Okay. And there again, Miss Doria and Megan. And I like to think of myself as being the type of person that if I met her in real life, that she and I will. Don't forget to hit the like button. I appreciate it.